Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. We are from Academic Reading Class 4. The member consists of my name, Kesi Fitriana, and my friends, Laeli Nurazni and Shafantya Fais Sundara. In the 11th meeting, we have a task in analyzing the strategies of reading based on the text that we choose before. We choose the text entitled English in the 15th century. We know that in reading there are three stages. The first one is before reading, the second one is during reading, and the third one is after reading. Let's discuss about before reading. Reason for reading the text. Why we choose English in the 15th century? Our reasons are: the first one is the text is related to our course. We study about corpus linguistic and word analysis in the course related to the topic of the text. So we interested to read the text. And the second one is we want to know background or detailed information of English in the 15th century. And the third one is we want to know the writer point of view because we need to know about the fact or opinion based on the writer point of view. Then we read it slowly so we can catch the ideas. And then after look the title, we predict or we conclude that the text will be about English in the 15th century, how English in the 15th century developed, and what the different form of word in before English in the 15th century and English in the 15th century. And in before reading stage, we also already know the topic, so it's why we choose the text. We already know that English in the 15th century is English that is used in the transition from Middle English to Modern English. We learned it in a word English subject, so we already know about the topic. And after we look the title of the text, and we have already known about the topic, we have a question. We want to find out what the example of the transition of the developed form of word of English in the 15th century and how the difference form of word before English in the 15th century and English in the 15th century. Let's check in during reading stage. And the last one is we make a note of words or phrases that maybe has correlation to the topic. We made four phrases. The first one is 15th century. The second one is develop of English. The third one is different form of word. The last is English language. And the next is the strategies in during reading will be presented by Laeli Nurazni. Time is yours.
Okay, I'm going to continue our presentation about the second stage during reading. The first is survey the text. How close were our predictions to the actually information we get in the text? After we read the first and last paragraph and the beginning and final sentences of other paragraphs, the result is pretty close to our prediction in the beginning. However, there are some information which we found out after reading the first and last sentences of each paragraph, such as the new invention of English in the 15th century. And the next is the general idea of the structure of the text. After we read the text, we found some clues of the type of the text, and it looks like the news item text. And in our opinion, the structure of the text consists of newsworthy event, background event, and sources, We stated that because the text is looks like a news item text, and of course the text use the pattern. The pattern is past. Sorry, the pattern is simple past tense. So we conclude that the text is belongs to news item text. And the next is our purpose for reading. After we read the text and we look back to our purpose, we found some points. There are 3 points. The first is the text is about English in the 15th century and its growth. It's not far from our prediction at first at the stage before reading. And the second is the information in the text is very useful for us. Of course, we are English education student from English education department, and as prospective English teacher, we know that the information is very useful for us for our teaching in the future. And the next is the informations in the text answered our questions we asked. And the next is we think that the main ideas are about how English in the 15th century and how English growth at the time. In our opinion, the text is interesting because it has correlation with our major. We can know deeper about English and its development. The first paragraph is also well argued, so we know that it's going to be discussed in the text easily. Besides the main ideas, there's also subsidiary ideas. The subsidiary ideas is the subsidiary ideas support the main ideas. So there are 4 subsidiary ideas. The first is some of coin surviving constructions out of Old English, such as impersonal verb with a dative, the inflected genitive case for nouns denoting things, and the double negative began to fall into disuse. The second is the bolstering of verbs with a number of auxiliaries derived from do and be. The third, there began the gradual spread of the so-called progressive conjunction with form of to be. And the next is some people accustomed to combining the 2 letters and continue to do so in setting up the certain English word. The next is vocabulary. In looking for the meaning of a vocabulary, we try to guess using word function and also using another words in the sentence. For example, we don't know the meaning of the word slide. Slide here is the bold one. In that sentence, final unaccented vowels by 1,400 already reduced to a very slight number were entirely lost. So at first we don't know what is the meaning of the word slide, and we try to guess the meaning of that word by using the next phrase, which is the phrase were entirely lost. So we know the meaning from the next or the other words in that sentence itself. We guess the meaning from the bold word by reading the next phrase. We also use the, besides guessing the meaning from the next phrase of or the next or the other words in the sentence, we also use the dictionary to help guessing the meaning. Especially we use online dictionary. And beside the difficult vocabulary, we also find difficult sentences. In determining the meaning of difficult sentences, we try to use connective words in the text. For example, we don't know the meaning of the sentence, some of the quaint surviving constructions out of English. What is meant by quaint surviving constructions? So we try to analyze the meaning from the connective words in the text itself. And the connective words is such as the italic one here. So after we know that such as means the example of that quaint surviving construction, so we know that the meaning of quaint surviving constructions means that impersonal verbs with the dative, the inflected genitive case for nouns denoting things, and the double negative. Besides, we also use reference words. For example, when we try to guess the meaning of the progressive conjugation in that sentence, during the same period there began gradual spread of the so-called progressive conjugation with form of to be I'm coming, he is sitting down, the bold one here. We try to analyze the meaning of progressive conjugation in that sentence using the reference word, and the reference here is the word this, the italic one. It means that progressive conjugation is the special forms of uh, like um, special form of English conjugation have developed an intricate etiquette with many modification of usage, which cause great trouble to the foreign student. So we try to guess the meaning during reading by using the dictionary, and also guessing the meaning from the other words or the other phrase or reference, and also the connective words in the sentence itself. And the next part will be presented by Shafantya. Thank you.
The next is after reading. We found several words that we think several new words that we think it will give us benefits, or it will use in the future. There are 10 new words. Number one is declension, a noun, a condition of decline or moral deterioration. In the sentence, still more nouns were shifted to the majority declension out of the small group, blah blah blah. And the similar meaning are debilitation, decline, descent, and degeneration. Number two is quaint, attractive. Quaint is the meaning of quaint is attractively unusual or old-fashioned. It can be found in the sentence some of the quaint surviving constructions, and the similar meanings are strange, singular, unique, peculiar, eccentric, erratic, odd, and etc. The next is denoting. It means be sign of indicate. Uh, it can be found in the sentence the inflected genitive case for nouns denoting things, and the other form of denoting words is like to denote or denotation, like that. And the similar meanings are indicate, mean, point to something, signify, or tell of something, like that. And the fourth is persist. Persist is a verb, and the meaning is continue firmly or obstinately in an opinion or course of action in spite of difficulty, opposition, or failure. We found this word in the sentence they persist in the 15th century, blah blah blah. And the similar meanings are continue, carry on, go on, keep on, persevere, and etc. And the other form of persist is like persisting, something like that. And number five is archaic. It is an adjective, and the meaning is very old or old fashioned. It is kind of like the word quine, and we can find the word in the sentence blah blah blah, but they are increasingly felt to be archaic survivals, and the similar meanings is obsolete, out of date, bygone, antique, outmoded, old-fashioned, or quine. It can be quine also. And the sixth, bolstering. It's a verb from the infinite word bolster, and the meaning is support or strengthen or prop up. We found the word in the sentence blah blah blah, the bolstering of verbs with a numbering of auxiliaries. And the similar meaning is strengthen, support, reinforce, and etc. The other the other form of bolster are bolstering, to bolster, bolstered, like that. And the other new words or number 7 is deferment as a noun, and the meaning is the action or fact of putting something off to a later time, or we can say postponement. We found the word deferment in the sentence blah 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 merely brought about the deferment of the main verb, and we can find the similar meaning of it, or postponement, deferral, suspension, and etc. The next is intricate. Intricate is an adjective. It means very complicated or detailed. We can find this word in the sentence. These two special forms of English conjugation have developed an intricate etiquette, blah blah blah. And the similar meaning of it are complex or complicated. The next is spurt as a noun, a sudden brief burst of effort, activity, or development. This can be found in the sentence blah 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 took an enormous spurt when it was more. And the similar meaning of it are pour, spirt, pump, gush, spout, blow, whoosh. So the enormous spurt is like a huge, what is it? Huge spout like that. The next is how does it fit into what you already think and know. Okay, in the 15th century, in the article, um, they put about that there was a new shift towards simplification in the English language, like the final unaccented vowels, which by 1,400 had been reduced to a measly number. They were even completely lost. Many nouns that are transferred to majority declarations form a minority remain in minority declarations, or declension in our new words in the previous slide. More and more verbs shift to weak conjugations of verbs that still retain their internal vowels changes, strengthening verbs with a number of helpers derived from do and be. During the same period, there began a gradual spread of the so-called progressive conjugation with forms of to be. I am coming, he is sitting down. These two special forms of English conjugation have developed an intricate etiquette, or old-fashioned, with many modifications of usage which cause great trouble to the foreign students. As we know, in the before reading that we we already um like make an hypothesis about the article. What about the article um telling it is about the language English language develop and the growth of it in the 15th century, um like um the transition like the transition from Middle English to Modern English, and the growth and the developed form of our word of English.
in the 15th century. It added that the changes in society, the gradual emergence of a commercial civilization, gave scope for imprinting that would have never occurred in the previous Middle Ages. This discovery is timely in more than one sense. From the explanation in the text, of course, it confirms some of the ideas from us that we have learned as students majoring in language, especially English, English department, about the growth and how dynamic language is, and it added that the changes in society. We also learn about that in social linguistics and in psycholinguistics and many more. And we do agree about that because it all makes sense, and those are what we learn in our department this whole time. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.